Anyway, it's November 9th, and I shaved.
Oh, yeah, you did.
It just wasn't. I didn't like it. It was getting cat hair in it all the time. It was bugging the crap out of me.
Ew.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with a 90s. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, sort of, if you'd like to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/namely90s with a 90s and get signed up for one of our support levels.
Oh no, we didn't do an improv warm-up exercise.
Improv! Are you making fun of the fact that I shaved 9 days into November?
This isn't Movember. Well, you didn't even keep the mustache.
No, oh my god! If I just had the mustache, I would have gone to jail immediately.
That's true.
I would have been arrested immediately.
He's
exposing himself.
It
was the worst mustache. But also, I can't grow it in the middle.
9 days in, at least you have the reverse Hillary stash. 9 days in, that's not enough time for
soup strainer. Well, let me be clear. It was a week before, like the last week of October and the first 9 days of November.
True, but
it was bad.
The month of November, apparently, for some reason, is the month that men get a pass on not shaving for some reason.
But I'm also I also don't understand. I mean, and I'm sure there's something I don't understand in general, but how does me growing a creepo stash help anything?
I think it was like an Instagram thing one year where, like, if you post yourself growing a beard, you're raising, and it was actually tied to raising money for, like...
Right, like the Ice Bucket Challenge, right?
Like,
kind of
the ALS, yeah.
But here's the thing. First of all, I wasn't aware that Mo was short for mustache. In fact, I thought Mo was short for something else, but, probably not for this podcast.
Moe?
No, not that. Anyway, but look at you with your mustache and beard situation going on.
Yeah, I need to shave. Luckily, my lights are washing out the fact that, like, my beard needs trim.
Oh, I see your internet's working well.
Yeah, it's fixed. I don't know if you were following the saga. Okay, so last week we recorded before I was able to. Wait, am I frozen?
You're pretty choppy, but I can deal. Well, I'm choppy too.
My up speed's 10 and my down speed's 50, so that's what you get.
After this, I'm going to do a speed test just to make you feel bad.
Yeah, but over the weekend, so 2 weeks ago when we recorded, or last week when we recorded, it was before I had a streaming event, twitch.tv/bshwitty, where I was a part of the Cream Team community.
My favorite thing to hear.
We were supporting Extra Life, which was raising money for Children's Hospital Miracle Network.
Okay, well now I feel bad.
But yes, the Extra Life is a yearly thing where streamers can do a 24-hour streamathon to raise money for Children's Hospital Miracle Network. We did it as a relay. Just a bunch of community members. The Cream Team's kind of one half of the Attack of the Show hosts that G4 returned, if you didn't know that. Apparently not a lot of people did, because they fired everyone and are canceling the network in less than a year's time. It went a full year. But Tim Pereira, Cassim G, and Fiona Nova are the Cream Team. That's the group that they created and formed a community called the Creamies. Yeah, Andrew's making faces. But Kevin Pereira, Attack of the Show, if Andrew's not aware, kind of led to it was a bastion of nerdiness for us, early 2000s, late 2000s. It ended in 2012, 2013, and along with G4 turned into Esquire. And
I didn't know that.
Then it was canceled. Well, the channel, the Esquire.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But it came back for a year. My point being is Attack of the Show kind of pioneered like the streamer format and like the talking, like the nerdy. It was a proto YouTube space kind of, like they showed YouTube clips on around the net, and they had like Twitter. They had a Twitter wall. They had a Twitter wall before there was a Twitter wall on frickin' CNN for election night coverage. They pioneered a lot of stuff that people take for granted now, and don't get credit for it. So anyway,
they're really the cream of the crop.
Yes, the cream of the crop. Anyway, we did a streaming event as a part of the community, and I did 4 hours. 1 hour block during the day where I did some DDR, and a 3 hour block in the late night AM hours. And I, literally the day after we recorded last week, my internet went from its usual 50-ish megabits per second down to 1 to 4 for down speed. Upspeed still stayed between like a 6 and a 10, which was fine. So I was able to stream, but I was getting a little worried.
It's like being on AOL. Good God.
It was the worst. Apparently, our signal was they were putting in new lines or something across town, and that was somehow
they overloaded the circuit, and it's not enough bandwidth.
Yep, essentially. And yeah, so I was having trouble. You may have, those of you that watched our video episode or watch this on youtube.com/@naming90s with 90s. Those of you that watch over there, you may have noticed that our Monday episode last week took a little while to get uploaded. Did that URL work?
It did. I'd never tried it before.
Well, it just started. Well, it literally started this week.
No, I know. I read about it and then.
Anyway, you can find us at youtube.com/@naming90s with the 90s.
Or the other one.
Yeah. Anyway, it got fixed on Monday, but it was the worst weekend ever. I was just like, how do I exist without internet access?
It's a question.
Hard.
Let's see. I want to apologize because I literally sniffled every 15 seconds on the last episode, and when I listened to it, it was the worst thing ever. So I'm gonna try not to do that tonight.
I do a lot of. Anyway, so I guess I haven't apologized for that in over a year. Sorry. And if Andrew would like me to go back and edit out his sniffles from last episode.
It's way too many. Don't even bother.
Yeah. See, the problem is you sniffle into the mic, so I can't use a low band thing.
I know. I need to figure out how not to do that.
Just lean back and sniffle.
It's just habit. I don't even know I'm doing it.
Fair enough. Because I can use like a.
You know what helps make it go away? Talking about it a lot. That's what makes the listeners forget about it.
I'm sure they've forgiven you by now.
Probably.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to. Yeah, it's ice cold here. We've been blanketed by snow, and it's now freezing. Even though 3 weeks ago it was about 78 degrees.
It's a chilly 45 outside right now.
I hate you. It's only 30. It could be worse, but it's
a brisk 72.
Oppressively
right
cold.
Now.
Okay.
And I have the fan on. It's so hard.
I'm huddled up by the space heater, so.
Oh yeah, Andrew, I forgot you're in your recording shed.
I'm in a shed. My backyard.
Insulation.
It's insulated.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah.
So it's a brisk 38 instead of brisk 36?
It's 2x4 framed. It's got,
What's the temperature in there right now?
I actually don't have a thermometer in here, which seems like a major oversight.
I guess that will be your next Christmas gift. Anyway, before Andrew freezes to death, we just want to let you know that next week is our Thanksgiving special, where we're skipping Thanksgiving and going straight into Christmas. We'll be watching The Santa Claus, I believe, unless we change it between now and when we record. That's The Santa Claus with an E, starring Tim Allen.
Was this one called The Santa Addendum?
The new one coming out.
The Santa Addendum. It's another contract term.
Right. Are you asking?
It's a sequel. That should be called that.
Well, we're watching it because there is a sequel series coming out.
No, I know, but the sequel should be called The Santa Addendum.
I was asking, were you asking, is that what it's called?
No, I'm asking, I'm saying it should be called that because when you change a contract in a separate document, it's called an addendum. That'd be a good name for a sequel.
It would be, yes, instead of The Santa Claus 2.
Or
and
The Santa
Claus 3.
Yeah.
Or The Santa Clauses.
Ugh.
A Santa Claus's story.
This is painful.
What is it called? I don't even remember. Yeah. Addendum Me Christmas.
Smash that subscribe button. Do it. Are we moving on?
Yeah.
Did you do the call to action? I forgot.
I didn't. I thought that's your thing.
Oh, hey. Well, if you want to... Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
Hey, if you're listening out there, we didn't do it last week, but if you're watching on YouTube, there's a little red button. Punch it. It says subscribe. Which is subscribe in Latin. It means F your mother. So make sure you punch it, or else it's not gonna like you. And if it's gray, you've already won. And if you're listening to us on some sort of app, I'm sure you can open that app. And if you are not following us or subscribed to us, it doesn't cost you anything. We don't clutter your feed. Once a week, you
push
hear us for 30-ish minutes.
Just push the button.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your call to action for the week.
Well, there you go. Okay, well, why don't you tell us what was going on back in November of 1993?
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to November of 1993. On the 2nd, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer wins the New York mayoral election. Rudy Giuliani wins the first New York Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer wins the New York mayoral election. He is the first Republican mayor of New York since 1965.
And how great it was for that city.
He was America's mayor for a time. On the 2nd, Warner Brothers announces the formation, before he melted into black goo.
I'm pretty sure he got rid of a lot of the mob, though. And it was also part of it, probably. But
which made him America's mayor. He was also there, during some significant event in the early 2000s. Also on the 2nd, Warner Brothers announces the formation of the WB TV network channel. On the 15th, Brittany, Justin, and Christina join the cast of the new Mickey Mouse Club. Do you know who Brittany, Justin, and Christina are?
Now, would these be famous people?
These are famous people, yes.
Spears,
Yes.
Timberlake,
Yes.
and Aguilera.
That is correct. Good job, Andrew. Did you know they were part of the new Mickey Mouse Club?
I knew. Yeah, no, I've been told that about each of them.
Do you remember when we did a game where you had to guess?
Yes, I do remember that. I don't think I did particularly well.
I don't think you did particularly well either, but you at least got Brittany, Justin, and possibly Christina. On the 16th, President Yeltsin shuts down the Lenin Museum. Also,
John Lennon?
Yes. That's where that one
Imagine
guy
all the people walking out of the museum.
Shot him. On the 16th, Pete Davidson do you know who Pete Davidson is?
Yes, he's the person whose style I emulate.
You did kind of look like him the other
Bad
week.
old hoodies, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, from SNL. He's the person that the rapper formerly known as Kanye West hates.
He also hates all of the Jews, right?
Yes, except
So-
he can't hate all of the Jews because according to him, all black people are Jewish.
Are we supposed to call him yay, or do you sort of lose that right when you start making anti-Semitic comments?
I don't think you lose the right because it's your choice. I don't know. Pete Davidson's born on the 16th. I think we're supposed to just not talk about him.
He's called yay because when he leaves the room or the screen, you go, yay.
On the 18th, NAFTA passes in the U.S. House of Representatives.
The North American Free Trade Agreement?
Yes. Oh, and it passes on, yes. So NAFTA didn't always exist. And
Right. And the 22nd in the Senate. Oh.
yes, thank you. On the 21st, Bill Bixby, who played Bill Bixby played David Banner in the Incredible Hulk 70s TV series. He was also the dad, I want to say, in My Favorite Martian. Passes away from cancer. Ripped to the max. David Banner is the one that transforms into the Incredible Hulk, but they didn't call him
Bruce.
Well, so they changed the name from David to Bruce because the CBS executives thought that Bruce just sounded too gay. This is a
What if they
literal
changed
thing
it to
that
like
happened.
Keith or something? That's a Family Guy joke. I'm just
On the 22nd, the Food Network premieres. Debuts.
yay! Kanye!
The 23rd, we've lost it at this point. Snoop Dogg's debut album, Snoop Doggy Dogg, is released. And on the 27th, Omar Jimenez, a CNN journalist, is born. I followed him a lot during the Black Lives Matter protest stuff.
I see.
He was a good resource on Twitter. Finally on the 30th, Jacksonville Jaguars are announced by the NFL as an expansion team or something. Cool. And finally, also on the 30th, President Clinton signs the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act into law, which mandated federal background checks on firearm purchases in the United States and imposed a 5-day waiting period on purchases. The intention of the act was to prevent persons with previous serious convictions from purchasing firearms. It was named after James Brady, who was shot and wounded by John Hinckley Jr. during the attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan in March 30th, 1981.
I whacked my microphone. Sorry.
And it was in 1987 that the act was first introduced to Congress. 1993.
I think the point here is that the only way to, and I'm not saying this as a plan or a threat, I'm just saying the only way to make Republicans take gun control seriously is for one of their beloved leaders to be shot.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, essentially, they're like, school children? No. But trickle-down economics,
Yeah.
we have to have gun control. But I like how they're like, oh, handguns, but it's still open season on like rocket-propelled grenades that shoot 200 grenades per second and some wacky ass stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going into a school with a Tommy gun? Like, what are you doing?
The closer we get to having like Halo-style weapons in real life, the more afraid for the U.S. society we should be. TV premiering ending, or just premiering, November 1993. On the 3rd, we have The Nanny on CBS.
It was either Peter Griffin or Fran Drescher. I'm not sure.
Yes. And on the 28th, we have the premiere of The Adventures of Pete and Pete on Nickelodeon. In the box office, on the 5th, we have Look Who's Talking Now, the sequel to the clearly well-known 80s movie Look Who's Talking, starring John Travolta and Kirstie Alley.
We had Look Who's Talking on VHS.
Did you?
Questionable choice, parents.
Also on the 5th, RoboCop 3. So clearly you were excited for Look Who's Talking Now.
No.
On the 10th, we have Carlito's Way. On the 12th, we have Ernest Rides Again. Threw that in there for you. Also on the 12th, The Three Musketeers, starring Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell, Tim Curry, and Paul McGann. On the 19th, we have The Addams Family Values, which was the sequel to the live-action Addams Family movie, with Raul Julia and Christina Ricci as Wednesday. And on the 24th, also Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. On the 24th, we have Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello!
In the Billboard charts, number 1 for November 1993. All month and out into December is I'd Do Anything for Love, open parentheses, but I won't do that, close parentheses, by Meatloaf. Continuing on for the second week of November 1993, at number 2, we have All That She Wants by Ace of Base. Do you know what she wants, Andrew?
Oh, yeah. I listened to that in my car the other day.
Is it another baby? At number
It's Gone Tomorrow, something like that.
Yep. Number 3, again, by Janet Jackson. I like that song. Number 6 is Dream Lover by Mariah Carey. I like that song too. Number 7 is Shoop by Salt and Pepper. Number 9, I like that song too. At number 9, Whoop, open parentheses, there it is, close parentheses, by Tag Team. Number 11, What Is Love by Hathaway. That's the...
Yeah, the Night at the Roxbury song.
Yes. Number 14 is Breathe Again by Toni Braxton. Number 21 is I Get Around by Tupac. Number 22 is No Rain by Blind Melon. Do you remember that one?
I just looked it up, and yes, I remember it, and wow, do I hate that video.
Oh, I don't remember what the video is, but it's the one where they're like, all I can say
Is the guy blind
that my
or gal?
life is pretty plain. I'm pretty sure that's a dude. I like watching the puddles gather rain. It's not hay.
Oh, God, stop. It's bad.
Yeah. And finally, number 23, we have Crying by Aerosmith.
That's quite a song, too, to get through. It's
Now let's toss across the pond to our friends Gaz and Dange of the Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod Show for the UK headlines for November 1993. Take it away, Dange.
Good evening. Here are your headlines for the UK in November 1993. I'll Do Anything for Love continues as UK number 1. Time-travelling sitcom Goodnight Sweetheart makes its debut on the BBC One. And Demolition Man hits the UK cinemas.
Holy hopscotch, 1993. Well, it's hard to hold a candle with all that going on, but as long as the wheels are turning, jump on the Meatmobile and bid farewell to your beloved as you ride into the 1940s like a fedora-wearing TV repairman. I don't want any sly comments now, but somebody put me back in the fridge before she finds out I lost her seashell. Now, let's hand it back over to those gods of sex and drugs and rock and roll, Brandon Meat and Andrew Loaf, and get demolished.
Thank you guys for the brilliant expression of self, and thank you for those headlines, Dange. If you'd like your retro with an equal helping of 80s to wash down the 90s, check out the Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod Show on your platform of choice and follow up with those UK headlines on this Thursday's episode. You'll even get to catch a segment we host called Quotely 90s, where Andrew and I quiz the boys on a quote from a piece of pop culture relevant to our next episode. That's the Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod Show.
And now let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to our mid-episode break, Namely 90s Minute. Every week, we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of A Christmas Story Christmas, we're looking back at the first sequel to A Christmas Story, My Summer Story. My Summer Story is a 1994 sequel to A Christmas Story, originally titled and released as It Runs in the Family. With over a decade in between the first film and this one, the majority of the cast was recast, save the narrator and Ralphie's teacher. It stars the dad from Beethoven as the dad, Doc's schoolteacher love interest from Back to the Future Part 3 as the mom, Home Alone's IRL brother as Ralphie, Home Alone's IRL other brother as the younger brother Randy, and the Shermanator from American Pie as the bully Farkas. The film is split into 3 main stories, each focused on a family member. The dad's story is about being at odds with their hillbilly neighbors, the Bumpuses, whose 43 bloodhounds are always harassing Mr. Parker. He tries to force them away by playing loud music, but they are nonplussed, and even party to it. After going on a fishing trip with Ralphie, he tries again with a sound effects record of a federal bust, but the Bumpuses have moved away by that point, unbeknownst to him, and he becomes the new neighborhood pariah for accosting everyone with the noise. Mrs. Parker's story revolves around trying to complete a collection of celebrity dishes that were available for free by going to the theater nightly. But after receiving a gravy boat the first day, she kept getting gravy boats again due to a misshipment. After continually getting a gravy boat, she gets fed up and throws one of the boats at the scheming theater owner, inciting a riot which she gets arrested for. Finally, Ralphie's story revolves, no pun intended, around a battle top toy similar to Beyblades. Just old. One of the bullies who took over after Farkas lost to Ralphie in the previous movie has a crazy strong battle top that can't be beat. Ralphie goes through a bunch of different schemes to get better tops until he finally has one capable of beating it. In the final battle, the 2 tops end up going so hard they end up going into a sewer drain and are lost forever, resulting in both boys losing. And that's my summer story in a Namely 90s minute. More or less. Thanks.
And now back to the show.
Hey, did you like that one?
Yeah, first try.
Yeah,
Woo!
Well done.
Yeah, I was listening to that last week and I was like, oh my God, I have to stop.
Well, yeah, at some point I
But
was just
I
like...
nailed it on the first one just now.
At some point I was just like doing editing. I'm like, I was like, how much should I leave in? And, there was still some left on the cutting room floor.
Sure.
Yeah, I was like, a minute's fine. Andrew gets a little neurotic about this. Anywhere you want to go?
Ugh.
Oh, sorry, he started to yawn.
Sorry. No,
redo everything.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like this month and year. There's some stuff in here I remember.
Oh yeah. What do you remember? Is there more than what I've written down for bullet points?
No, but I like your choices, and I actually have something to say probably about each of them, which is kind of surprising.
Perfect. It's been a couple months since that's been the case. I'm kidding. It's only been a couple episodes. Where do you want to go first? It's at your leisure. You're making that face on camera.
Let's hit Ms. Doubtfire first.
All right. Mrs. Doubtfire is a 1993 American comedy drama film directed by Chris Columbus, who also, Home Alone.
Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
He was really early. Okay, I was trying to make a joke there, but
you tried. It's
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good effort.
Starring Robin Williams, with Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, Harvey Fierstein, and whoever Robert Prosky is. No idea.
Exactly.
It follows a recently divorced actor who dresses up as a female housekeeper to be able to interact with his children. The film addresses themes of divorce, separation, and the effect they have on family.
I think it's a clever premise.
I think so too. And I watched this earlier this year because it was one of the first movies that Shalina picked for her movie discussion club. Our friend Shalina from Everything 90s. And she actually has one coming up this weekend or next weekend. Next weekend, the 26th. The weekend after Thanksgiving. They're watching, I want to say The Crying Game, but that's not right. Pelican Brief.
Hey, that's got Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. I've never seen it. I actually, but I won't be able to make it because I'll be visiting family.
This movie, talking about this movie reminds me, I saw this thing on the internet the other day where it showed like 3 or 4 clips from movies basically of main characters in drag. And it was like, see, America, you actually like drag because it's like in these popular movies.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then everyone's like, no, drag queens, Republicanism. And then you're like, you like movies with drag in them. So calm down.
Yeah. It's like, not to circle back to the Cream Team community stream, but
oh boy,
yeah. But like when I first saw our like Extra Life thing, it said the Cream Team community is raising money or is helping kids. I was just like,
helping them do what? Yeah. Always funny.
Yeah,
I'm such a child that I cannot get over it.
It's so fun. But yeah, I bring that up because, you know, there's like drag outreach programs where they like they'll have drag queens reading reading books to kids in like, I don't know, public library events or something like that, or stuff like that. And that's where the outrage is coming from.
Yeah, I bet all those pastors who are paying people to have sex with their wives are really up in arms about that.
Exactly. Or
I did the sniffling thing again. No.
You know, I don't even notice it. It's like how you probably pretend to not notice me go all the time. Yes. Cream Team. It grossed $441.3 million on a $25 million budget. It's the second highest grossing film of 1993. Can you name the first one?
In 1993?
Yes.
Jurassic Park.
I believe it is Jurassic Park.
But dang, I mean, talk about return on investment.
It is Jurassic Park. Yeah, right?
Dang.
That's pretty good.
I mean, it was nothing. It was like, the set was like a house, and the effects were Robin Williams in a wig.
Yeah, probably like one of the more expensive shoots is probably like any exterior scene of the house because it's San Francisco.
But meanwhile, Jurassic Park probably had a budget of $441 million.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, all of the effects were practical in Mrs. Doubtfire. None of that was digital.
Oh, the budget for Jurassic Park was only $63 million.
Oh, well, then they also did pretty well then. And it's placed 67th in AFI's 100 Years, 100 Laughs list, and 40th on Bravo's 100 Funniest Movies of All Time list. Yeah.
Dang.
Robin Williams got a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Motion Picture category in musical or comedy. Yeah. It also got an Academy Award for Best Makeup. And,
not bad.
The Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture, because clearly Jurassic Park couldn't have it. Yeah. What do you remember about the movie?
I remember a scene where like Robin Williams' face is all white. Is it flour?
Pie. It's a cream pie. So he's already taking off his face, but I want to say it's someone shows up. He's already taken off his face, but
oh, that's right. So he's trying to like quickly
change back
go back incognito.
Yeah. And I don't remember. I think it's like his social worker is checking in, and
boy, this is an old movie that Sally Field is supposed to play someone's wife. Like,
yeah, mom. She plays mom.
Oh, is it mom? Yeah, but his wife, former ex,
correct,
former wife.
Well, she did play Aunt May in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Harvey Fierstein is a great. I love that guy.
He plays the brother.
He's in Independence Day. He's the one who's like, I had to call my lawyer. Forget my lawyer.
He's the guy.
David's coworker.
That's
Jeff Goldblum's coworker. Yeah.
Yep. At the TV station. Yeah, that's a good scene. I always remember like the reason for their divorce is he throws a birthday party and while she's like at work or something, and he throws a birthday party for their middle kid or youngest kid and like has an entire petting zoo at their house.
I feel like every light comedy from the 90s features like divorce as one of the like plot devices. I think that's because that's kind of when divorce was like blowing up in this country.
I'm starting to get into it, yeah. Oh, good. You're clipping now for me. Yeah. Well, it's my internet, but Yes. Yeah. It's a good movie. It's a very heartfelt movie. You sometimes forget that it's a movie about divorce in the way that 500 Days of Summer is a movie about love or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
My point being is it doesn't resolve in a way that they get back together.
Yeah,
it
but I
resolves
feel
in a
like
way where they become amicable.
when they
parents
always
together.
get back together, it's like they're a sign of a cheesy movie, you know?
Exactly, and this one was a little bit more.
Like what is this?
real.
What is this? Liar, liar. Come on.
Do they get back together? In
I don't know. All I know is that Carrie Elwes plays like the new spouse.
I like him. He's from a movie you'll never watch called The Princess Bride.
I know. I mean, classic Robin Williams, ripped to the max.
Ripped to the max.
Good performance.
Yeah. He's a voice actor who does like crazy zany characters. Pierce Brosnan. That's the other thing. Pierce Brosnan's character isn't like a jerk. He's a
nice
target. Guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a target of Robin Williams' like hate and antics, but like he I think in the Santa Claus, we'll probably talk about this next week. He's not like a jerk either. What's his name? The new husband or boyfriend of Scott Calvin's Judge Reinhold
Pierce
plays
Brosnan
him.
is in the new.
What?
Pierce Brosnan is in the new
No, I'm saying
Santa Claus. Oh.
in the original Santa Claus, it's also a story about divorce. Judge Reinhold plays Scott Calvin's ex-wife's new boyfriend, and he's
Gotcha.
not a villainous character either. He's kind of a douche, but he's not evil. You
Gotcha.
know? And I think that was this was kind of like a start of that wave, or not a start of a wave. Like this is the only era where you could have divorce represented in a way that seems like it's right for the situation. Now it's still, the new boyfriend's evil, and
I don't feel like the new boyfriend's evil. I mean, maybe it's dad's toxic behavior that led to the divorce.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that she also was involved somehow too. Okay.
I'm just saying in modern film, like modern comedies or whatever, it's like, the new spouse is always bad and whatever, and it's not always the case.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Speaking of divorce, let's move. Wait, this isn't about divorce, is it? Let's move on to.
Or no, their mom died.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it's divorce.
Oh no, I think died.
She
might
it's
be
been
dead.
a while. It's been a
She's
while.
dead.
It's been a while.
The Nanny. I can't wait for you to read the description.
Unless you would like to.
No.
Okay. The Nanny is an American television sitcom that originally aired on CBS from November 3rd, 1993 to 1999, starring Fran Drescher as Fran Fine, a Jewish fashionista from Flushing, Queens, New York, who becomes the nanny of 3 children from the New York British high society.
So it's kind of like the opposite of whatever that movie is, where they try to teach the Cockney person how to speak like nice British English.
Yeah, I always felt it was like a modern take on what's it called? The Sound of Music. Just instead of a Catholic nun, you get a Jewish woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Kanye West is not like this show. Neither does Mel Gibson, for that matter.
Damn it.
Nor that one basketball player that recently.
Was that Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So it spawned several foreign adaptations. It got 1 Emmy Award.
Just one?
Well, out of a total 12 nominations. It was Drescher was nominated twice for a Golden Globe and an Emmy. Basically the plot was she turns up at the doorstep of a British Broadway producer, Maxwell Sheffield, to sell cosmetics after having been dumped and fired by her bridal shop owner boyfriend. And then Maxwell hires her to be the nanny of his 3 children, Maggie, Brighton, and Grace. I'm only doing this because we're watching an episode of this for our Christmas specials, so we might as well remember. Turns out that she's just what he and his family needs.
Of course.
Yes.
Isn't there another movie that does something like that, or a show, or multiple?
Sound of Music.
Where, like, yeah, basically the woman comes in and is like...
Or that Two of a Kind with the Olsen twins, that show that we watched 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She was a
Where,
nanny.
like, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Where is she storing all those Christmas decorations?
Where, yes. Didn't she say she had a storage locker?
Yeah, but we were like, it's like $125 a month.
That's true. It was like a Doctor Who level,
Yeah.
like fold in time. Let's see. Eventually, they fall in love, and she marries him, and they have twins.
Wow. I mean, I remember watching it. Really, I remember like the characters look very familiar. Like, I think we watched it quite a bit, and then obviously like the ridiculous Fran Drescher like shtick, and that's about all I remember. Because
I thought she was Janice from.
Yeah, they're kind of the same type
Friends.
of character, but my parents definitely watched this show.
I think I'm fairly. I recall watching this. I don't think it was a regular watch, but I definitely watched a good amount of it on reruns, I assume. I want to say it was on Nick at Night at some point too. Even though they wouldn't have. Yeah. Anyway, Food Network.
Yes, huge Food Network fan.
You.
I mean, yeah, so let's do it. Food Network is an American basic cable channel owned by Television Food Network GP, a joint venture and general partnership between Warner Brothers, blah, blah, blah. Something complicated, something about being sold. Yeah. So it was established on November 23rd, 1993 at 6 a.m. as TV Food Network, and in 1997 moved to Food Network. Was owned by Scripps Networks for a very long time until 2008.
Can you name
Teen.
what shows you remember from Food Network?
Yeah. So some of the originals, I believe, Emerald Live,
Emerald Live, that's right.
which I love that format of like the live chef with the studio audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I always loved watching Emerald Live. I didn't like it when they tried to do it on like network television with the Chew with like, Mario Batali, who's gross. Although Mario Batali was one of the first chefs on Food Network.
Food Network, yes.
I believe Ina Garten, she was 99.
Yeah, Barefoot Contessa.
No, she didn't start till like 99.
Right, but she was still.
Bobby Flay was on this network from day one.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I watched it in the
Alton
time
Brown.
of like, for me it was Bobby Flay, Giada De Laurentiis,
Giada.
Rachel Ray, 30-minute meals, of course. And then Emerald
Tyler.
Live, loved Emerald Live. Tyler Florence, yeah.
Yeah, I watched Tyler Florence. Ultimate whatever.
Yeah, he kind of did a few different things.
He would make the whitest version of every Asian recipe.
I always thought, I was like when Nigella Lawson was on there because she always made like these elegant things and measured everything in grams.
I think that was after my time.
She was kind of British. And then it started to get weird. Like, I still watch it. I watch certain things on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just too much competition.
They got Iron Chef.
Ooh, Iron Chef
Chopped.
America. That was one that I watched the heck out of.
I think I've watched Chopped the most out of all their shows.
Chopped is hard. It's hard for me because it's, well, first of all, it's very bingeable and like leave on in the backgroundable.
Yeah.
But I hate the show, but I can't stop watching it.
Right.
Because they're always like, they introduce the chef and they're like, I'm a badass and this is why. And then all of them say the same
cuts to
thing.
him crying when he can't get everything together.
And then they put raw onion on something that Scott Conant's trying as the judge and they just get eliminated the first round. I'm like, you idiot! Don't put raw onion on his stuff. Like, dude, come on.
Or they don't transform.
One of
the
my
secret
favorite things they
ingredients.
do is like, someone puts like a wedge of, no, someone puts like a, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of a good example. They put something on the plate, like a garnish or something that's like clunky and big and like doesn't make any sense. And they always like pick it up. The judges go and they're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And they just like set it on the table and just start eating.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this? I always love that part on Chopped. It's one of my favorites.
And then also you've expressed your love for Alton Brown and his series.
Good Eats.
Good Eats. Yes.
Who could forget? That one was on there a long time.
Oh, yeah. Started in 99, 98.
Oh, can't forget. What was the one with the lady with the butter on everything?
The racist.
Paula Deen.
Paula Deen. My cheesecake recipe is adapted from her caramel apple streusel cheesecake bars. Quite good.
This
All
is
butter.
interesting. Who are the?
You would think you'd need some cheese in a cheesecake.
The original lineup for Food Network. Ooh. Emeril Lagasse, of course, and a bunch of people I've never heard of. So none of them were there from the beginning. I think Bobby Flay was like the second year.
Bam. Oh wait, that wasn't Bobby.
Bam,
Flay.
that was Emeril.
By the way, his Bobby Flay's restaurant in Mesa sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It's closed
It
now.
wasn't good. Oh, good.
Mario Batali and Bobby Flay joined the network in 1995. Emeril Lagasse created.
Last time I was in Vegas, I ate at Roy Choi's restaurant at the MGM.
Where was this?
Vegas. MGM Grand. It's called Best Brand. Very, very good. One of the best meals of my life.
Paula Deen joined in 2002, as did Ina Garten. Let's see, Rachel Ray. Blah, blah, blah. Of course, Guy Fieri. I mean, that guy, talk about being just launched into the stratosphere.
Diners, drive-ins, dives.
He was the first winner of the next Food Network star, I believe.
Is that where he came from, really?
Yeah, it was one of their first reality series. And yeah, it was I think Guy Fieri was season 1. No, he wasn't. Guy Fieri was season 2.
Is Man vs. Food Network?
No.
That's Travel Channel.
Let's see. Let's look at some people I hate.
Okay.
Ooh, mostly just Justin Warner. Have you seen this guy?
No.
He's such a dweeb. I don't like him.
I don't know if you
Anyway,
say
that's
that
about
anymore.
it. Very few of these people went on to do anything. Like, they're all just like kind of character judges on Chopped. Let's see, Jeff Morrow's on The Kitchen, which is one of my favorite shows, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm a big fan. It's gotten a little too competition heavy, and some of the cooking shows are a little annoying. But yeah, there you go.
I'm surprised. Yeah, the only time I watch it is when we can't find anything to watch at Thanksgiving.
Georgia Hardstark from My Favorite Murder was on the Cooking Channel for a while.
Which was a secondary Food Network channel.
Yes. It was called something. What was the show called? Classy Ladies. What was it called? Yeah, they just like went around and like did stuff, like drank liquor and did stuff. But I could totally see that. They look like that. It looks definitely a vibe.
Very vibey.
And that's what inspired her to get into murder. I think we're done.
Yeah, that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's Supplemental Spotify playlist, curated by yours truly. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s with 90s, or find us on our personal Twitter accounts at bshooting and at Namely Andrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with the 90s. Finally, you can contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Kale, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, and that's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time.
So remember the first season.
Bibbidi bobbidi boop.